Senate will please come to order. I would ask that all members please take their seats and that the guests please clear the aisles. The clerk will unlock the machine for the purpose of recording attendance. Have all senators indicated their attendance? Will the clerk please lock the machine? There are 38 members in attendance. There is a quorum. At this time, I would ask for all members and their guests to please rise for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance to be led today by Senator Daniel DuPont, representing the city of East Providence.
Thank you, Madam President. Almighty God, we ask that you aid us in putting forth our best efforts as leaders of our state as we attempt to make Rhode Island a better place for our people to live. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business is the reading of the previous day's journal. Will the clerk please read?
State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations, Journal of the
Senator DuPont.
Madam President, I move that a further reading of the journal be dispensed with and the minutes be accepted as printed.
There being no objections, so ordered. Next order of business is the introduction of guests. Are there any guests present? Senator Archambault.
Madam President, thank you. Introduction, please.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam President. Today, my wife very shortly will be graduating from RIC with her RN degree. I'm very proud of her. So my family is in town from Dallas, and I have the pleasure of having with me today, if you stand when I call your name, Dr. Alfredo Rodriguez, my father-in-law, Melissa Flamboris, Gigi's best friend, my brother-in-law, J.V. Rodriguez, my mother-in-law, Dr. Rodriguez, and my intern, David Chai. Dave, stand up. It's an honor to have him here. Thank you very much.
Welcome and congratulations as well to Gigi from all of us. Senator Doyle.
Madam President, introduction.
Please proceed, Senator.
Madam President, colleagues, I am pleased to announce that Lexi Mubarak is here with us today. She is a Providence College. She's going to be graduating. She is a social work major, and she is here today as a alumni student shadowing program. So I'd like to welcome Lexi to the State House. And she's not shadowing me, Madam President. Welcome.
Are there any additional introductions? The next order of business is committee reports and communications. Are there any committee reports and or communications? There being none, at this time, the next order of business is new business. Senator Doyle requests immediate consideration of a Senate resolution expressing profound sympathy on the passing of James F. Barron. There being no objection, Senator Doyle requests that the resolution be read.
Senate resolution expressing profound sympathy on the passing of James F. Barron. Whereas it is with great sadness that this Senate has learned of the passing of Jim Barron, an enormously well-respected political reporter for two local newspapers, The Times and The Call. And whereas Jim grew up in Lincoln, Rhode Island, the son of Mary and the late Robert Barron, he was a beloved husband of Denise Perot, a former city editor for the Woonsocket Call. And whereas joining the Times in 1981, Jim's nascent career took him back to his hometown of Lincoln as a correspondent on local events. In 1985, he was made a full-time reporter covering municipal government events and meetings. And whereas over the course of his career, Jim covered a panoply of issues, eventually providing full-time coverage of events at the State House. In addition, he appeared on such news shows as A Lively Experiment and State of Minds, but was perhaps best known for his award-winning weekly column, Politics as Usual. And whereas while Jim often relentlessly covered the issues of the day, he conducted himself, posed his questions, and wrote his insights with such fairness and honesty that he had not only earned a very loyal following of readers, but also a much-admired reputation for his integrity from those he had covered. And whereas there is no doubt that Jim Barron, a free thinker, a talented writer, and a true gentleman, left the literary community and the state more informed and enlightened by his life's endeavors. His integrity and common sense enriched the lives of all who knew him and set a standard for journalistic excellence that is an inspiration to us all. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Senate of the State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations hereby expresses our deepest sympathies on the passing of James F. Barron. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be, and he is hereby authorized and directed to transmit duly certified copies of this resolution to his wife Denise Perot, and his mother, Mrs. Mary Barron.
Senator Doyle moves passage. Seconded by Leader Ruggiero, Leader Algier, and many others. All those in favor, please rise. The resolution passes. We'll miss Jim. Next item of business is Senate resolution proclaiming January 17th, 2015 to be Shine a Light on Heroin Day in the state of Rhode Island and commending Westerly, Rhode Island and Stonington, Connecticut for their joint efforts to combat this crisis. Leader Algier requests immediate consideration. There being no objection, Leader Algier moves passage, second by Leader Ruggiero. Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The resolution passes. Are there any further resolutions at this time, Madam Whip? I know we were awaiting one in particular.
I'm sorry, Madam President. No, we're going to continue that till next week.
Okay, great. Next order of business is the Senate consent calendar. There is one item on today's consent calendar by Senator Chacon, a Senate resolution proclaiming July 25th through July 31st to be Waterway Awareness Week in the state of Rhode Island. Madam Whip moves the consent calendar, seconded by Senator Kettle. Is there any discussion? There being none, will the clerk please unlock the machine? Shall the consent calendar be adopted? Will the clerk please lock the machine? 38 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and the consent calendar is adopted. That completes today's calendar. We will now revert to announcements and introductions. Senator Pichardo.
Announcement, Madam President.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam President. To you and through you, I'd like to announce and also invite my colleagues today. Congressman David Cicilline will host a special guest, Congressman Luis Gutierrez from Illinois. He will be speaking at Providence Korean Technical Academy, PCTA, at 41 Fricker Street. He will be in town in the city of Providence, be joined by our mayor, Jorge Lorza, and also I believe it's also Mayor James Diosa. We'd love to invite you and see you there. It will be a lively conversation and also presentation where Congressman Gutierrez will speak on the executive order that our President Barack Obama did on immigration. And you're all welcome to join us. It's at 6:30 at PCTA, 41 Fricker Street. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Nesselbush.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. An announcement.
Please proceed. For
planning purposes, the Committee on Health and Human Services will meet next Tuesday for the advice and consent of the Honorable Charles Fogarty as the new director of the Division of Elderly Affairs. And we hope that the First Lady of Elderly Affairs will be on hand, but I see she's not even paying attention, so she probably won't be there.
Senator Walaska.
Announcement, Madam President.
Please proceed.
Thank you. The Credit Union Association of Rhode Island is holding its annual reception for the legislature in the state room this afternoon, so all of you are welcome to attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Jabour.
Thank you, Madam President. An announcement, please.
Please proceed.
Thank you. For planning purposes, on Tuesday, the Judiciary meeting will meet at the Rise for confirming Colonel O'Donnell.
Thank you. Are there any further announcements at this time? If there are none, is there any objection to transmitting adopted resolutions to the Honorable Secretary of State? All matters passed by the Senate to the Honorable House of Representatives, and all matters passed in concurrence to His Excellency the Governor. Hearing none, so ordered. The desk is now clear of business. Senator Goodwin.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the Senate. Madam President, members of the Senate, what has been standard practice for us here in this chamber, tomorrow there will not be session. Being that it's a long upcoming weekend, the Martin Luther King weekend, so session will be canceled. I would, however, like to remind the members that the desk will remain open for business and the staff will be here tomorrow and Friday, and we encourage you to seek them out to move forward with processing our legislation and getting it in. Madam President, if there's no further business to come before the Senate this afternoon, I'll yield the floor to Senator Doyle for special adjournment.
Senator Doyle.
Madam President, colleagues, all of us who are in public office feel an immense sense of loss at the passing of Jim Barron. It is a loss that reverberates through the journalism community and throughout the state. Jim was an old school reporter. He was up here at the State House sitting through long meetings, parsing the testimony and helping his readers understand the world of politics. He asked the tough questions, but he was always fair. And his sense of humor came through in a person and on the page. Jim began his career in 1981 as a correspondent for my hometown newspaper, the Pawtucket Times. He became a full-time reporter in '85 and became a fixture at the State House in the '90s. Over the years, he earned the respect of those of us he covered and the many young journalists he mentored. Without Jim, there is an irreplaceable void in the State House press corps. Our thoughts and prayers are with Jim's mother, Mary, his wife, Denise Perot, and all of his family and friends. We all share in their sadness. Madam President, colleagues, today we adjourn in the name of Jim Barron.
Senator Doyle moves that we adjourn in memory of Jim Barron, seconded by Senator Nesselbush, Leader Ruggiero, Leader Algier, and Senator Connolly. All those in favor, please rise. Senate stands adjourned.